Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video where we will be doing a pumpkin acrylic paint tutorial, and I'm going to be using only primary colors. I'm starting with white and brown here. These are the acrylics from the Liquitex Basics line. They're really good, affordable paints, great for beginners. And I'm mixing in some yellow and some red, and I'm going to be using this as my base color where the pumpkins are going to be sitting on top of. So you can do this any color you want, but I'm going to do like a light peachy brown, kind of like a nude color. And so I'm just mixing that all up, and then we're going to go and create a straight line where our pumpkins are going to be sitting on top of. So if this is like a porch step or whatever you want it to be. The brush I'm using is from the Blick Scholastic line. It's a size 8, it's a flat brush, and it's perfect for making an edge and just kind of creating a straight line. So I'm dragging this like light brown down about halfway, and then I'm going to be mixing in a little bit more white into that color, and I'm going to gradually blend it down so it'll be lighter closer to us, so it creates a little bit of depth. So the color's going to be darker farther away from us and lighter closer to us. And so I'm just blending that all together. And the colors that I'm using here, I have titanium white, primary yellow, crimson red, phthalo blue, burnt umber brown. And now I'm going to make our background color, which as you probably saw from the thumbnail, is going to be wood panels. And I'm just using my burnt umber and my crimson red, mixing those together to kind of create a warm brown. And I'm just doing vertical strokes on my paper and creating a nice background to build on top of. And here I've switched to my larger brush. This is from the same line, the Blick Scholastic line, and it's a size 16, and it is a flat square brush as well. And I've just blended my reddish brown color all the way through the page, and now I'm mixing some white and yellow into this, and I'm going to be creating a lighter tone, grabbing a little bit more yellow for that color, be making a lighter tone to create my wood panels. So now I'm going back with the smaller brush, the same one I used before, creating some vertical brush strokes. I'm going to be blending those into the background. You'll notice that my brown background is not perfect because we're just using it as a base to build on top of, and you'll only really see it through the little like slots between the panels. So now I'm taking some titanium white with the edge of my smaller flat brush, dotting it along the length of my panels, and then with the edge of my brush blending them all in and creating that streakiness that we saw in the thumbnail to kind of create like a wood grain effect. And I'm going to go through and create the rest of my wood panels, just doing the same process that we did on the first one. And now we are going to be making our pumpkins to put on top. So we're going to be taking some yellow and slowly adding in some red. I go a little slow here and build up my red because it's much stronger than the yellow. So just take your time until you get the perfect pumpkin orange that you like. So I'm mixing together yellow, red, and a little bit of white. And that creates a nice pumpkin shade. And I use this to block in the general shape of my pumpkin, and the opacity of these paints is going to be quite thin, so you're going to have to go in with a few layers, but for the first layer just worry about drawing the outline of your pumpkin. And now I'm drawing the baby pumpkin in front of my larger one. So I'm going through with that same brush and the same process, same color, same everything, and just going through and creating a smaller pumpkin and blocking in that color in front of my larger pumpkin. And I just freehanded the shape of the pumpkins, but you can do whatever shape pumpkins you want. Here I'm going in with that orange and applying a second layer so my pumpkins are not so see-through, and I'm just going through with some curvy brush strokes, some curvy vertical brush strokes. I think this really helps too. So when you're painting pumpkins, start from the top and drag the paint down. Here I'm going around my baby pumpkin, but in general you're going to want to follow the natural curve of the pumpkin. And I'm using the edge of my brush to fill in the edges, and then I'm just dragging that paint down and following the natural curve. Now I'm filling in the second layer for my baby pumpkin and going back in and touching up the edges. And now we're going to be creating our shadow color, so I'm taking a little bit of red, some yellow, some brown, mixing those three colors together until I get a really nice deep brown orange color. And I'm going to be mixing up some of that same orange that you've seen me mix before with yellow, red, and white. Mixing that all together so we have some more of that ready to go as well. So we're applying that same orange on top of the pumpkins and just blending it all across the top. And now I'm taking my dark orange right at the very top where the stem is going to go, and I'm blending this dark orange on top of the regular like mid-tone orange that we have. And I go through with that same deep orange and I add it to the edges just to create a little bit of depth and roundness to my pumpkins. And I'm creating a little shadow behind my baby pumpkin, and I'm blending that into my larger pumpkin. Then I go to my baby pumpkin, I do the exact same thing. I'm just creating a little bit of depth on the top and all around the edges. And I'm going in with my regular orange, adding some paint onto my pumpkin, taking a little bit of white, making a bit of a brighter orange, and then I'm creating a highlight, and then taking that shadow color and creating the little like valleys in my pumpkin, if that's the right word. But yeah, we're just creating that like texture of the pumpkin, the natural shape. And so I'm using my brush and applying some pressure here to blend that dark orange into the rest of the orange color. And now I'm going to be taking some brown and a little bit of blue and a little bit of yellow to create kind of a green color. I'm mixing it on top of the brown that we just used, or like the orangey brown as well, to kind of tie in that color and reuse that paint. And I'm using my tiny detail brush to outline where I want the stem to be on my pumpkins. This is the Blick Scholastic Wonder White Round Brush in size 1. And I'm filling that in with that same color, and I'm also making sure to drag down my stem to like a kind of like a little V, so it looks like it's actually a part of the pumpkin and not just sitting right on top. And now I'm taking some white, I mixed it in with my brown color, and very lightly I'm just creating the highlights of my stem to give it a little bit of shape and dimension, and I just blend that in with my other stem color. And there you go, it has a little bit of shape. And now I'm doing the same thing with my baby pumpkin, but I wanted a teeny tiny stem on this one, so I'm just filling in a very small stem, but I did do the highlight, it's very subtle. And now for the last step, I'm creating a shadow color, and I kind of wish I would have done this before doing the pumpkins, but I guess after will work too. And I'm just mixing in and trying to make that same color that I used for the step where my pumpkin is sitting on top of. And I'm making kind of like a taupey brown, and I'm just going with my detail brush and creating a little shadow for my pumpkins. And this is the final step of the painting. I really hope you enjoyed this fun fall-themed artwork. I think this is super simple, perfect for beginners or a nice little project to do with friends. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you want to see next from me in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!